What is up, everybody? Big Screen Barracon here, and I just got back from seeing Wakanda Forever, and man, as soon as I got out of the theater, I could not wait to come home, sit down here, and just talk about it with you guys. It was truly an experience unlike any other Marvel experience I've ever had. You know, I went to see the movie with Nick, Greg, my wife, Michael, my dad, and after the movie, we all kind of huddled outside the theater, and Michael looked over at us and he said, "I think that was the most respectful crowd I've ever been in on opening night for a Marvel movie." I mean, there was no clapping, there was no cheers, everybody was locked in from the minute Shuri spoke. It was incredibly powerful. The entire movie was incredibly powerful. And first of all, I'm going to say what everybody has already said. They did a beautiful job tributing the life of Chadwick Boseman and this character and world that he was so passionate about up until the very end. They did an amazing job with it. I don't think anybody had any doubt that they would. But truly, it was spectacularly done. Oh, this movie, it wrecked my emotions. I felt like Marvel, for the first time in a very long time, was bold and made choices and committed to them and just wasn't afraid of consequence, wasn't afraid of being brutal, being real, being emotional. The film was completely unafraid, and I'm so grateful that it was like that. I mean, they really achieved something with this movie. It is just beautifully done. And the entire cast was just on point. Such a wonderful job. When you see a new movie for the first time, there's a lot of adrenaline that goes into it. A movie that you've been anticipating for a long time, there's some adrenaline there. You can't truly say this movie was perfect the first time you see it because you're not really looking for those flaws. It's not really until the second, third time where you start noticing it a little bit more. Not to say that you won't notice it the first time you watch it, because we've all seen movies that we just didn't really like. For me, Multiverse of Madness, the first time I saw it, I had a lot of adrenaline, I had a lot of anticipation leading up to it, but I saw a lot of flaws that first time I saw it. And it just kept getting worse and worse the more I saw it. But this movie, I really can't think of anything that it did that I felt was terrible, that I didn't like. I can't think of a thing. I guess sometimes it dragged a little bit, but it wasn't like bad. I think the movie was an appropriate length to explain the lore, to pay tribute to Chadwick, to progress the story and the characters, for them to achieve what needed to be achieved. I felt like it wasn't rushed and it wasn't over dragged. It was the right length it needed to be. Even though you felt at times that this was a long movie, it didn't necessarily bother you. Or at least it didn't bother me. Without any spoilers, I can say this. The movie, 9 out of 10. No hesitation for me. I am interested to see what I think a second time watching it through. But for me right now, it's an easy 9. Let's get into spoilers a little bit. I talked about how this movie was probably the boldest movie that I've seen Marvel do in a long time. I mean, look, it starts off with this huge emotional weight with, of course, T'Challa's funeral and just going through grief, going through the stages of grief. So the fact that this movie already has all that emotional weight to it, the fact that they killed the Queen, speechless. I was speechless. It's been a long time since I was speechless in a Marvel film. Truly, I did not see that coming. I didn't think they would do that. Added so much to Shuri's character and just the emotional impact that moment had. Seeing the Queen drown, I was truly speechless. I truly was. And it was just felt so right. It was the perfect push to revive the Black Panther, I thought. And the fact that when she goes to visit her ancestors, it's Killmonger. It's freaking Killmonger. Oh, what a good moment. What a good moment. Oh, that was such a strong scene. Such a strong scene to just have her become the Black Panther filled with just vengeance and hate and anger. Not something that we really see characters in the MCU embrace often. And to just have her be able to pull it back in the end. Spare Namor, who absolutely brilliant. Namor was such a good villain. Brutal. No hesitation. This entire people was just insane. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad they didn't kill him. I was nervous they were going to kill him. Because Marvel has this bad habit of having these amazing villains and just axing them off before you really get to dive into them deeper and show how they affect the future of the MCU. I was so glad that not only did Shuri make the choice for herself to spare him, I'm so glad that the door's open to get more of him and to see his people more. It's exciting. It's very, very exciting. The credit scene was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I felt like that could have been maybe the more predictable. The entire time I was watching the movie, honestly, in my head I was thinking, did she have a kid? Did she have a kid? Did she have a kid? Did T'Challa have a son? Did it happen? I mean, the moment the Queen looked at Shuri and said, there's something about your brother that I need to tell you, I knew. I knew his son was somewhere. That could have been the only thing. So I was excited to see him revealed in the credit scene. It was just such a sweet and powerful, rewarding moment for Shuri, too. Who just didn't give in to vengeance. Didn't let it consume her. And it's so cool that she had the same arc as her brother did. Just, the resemblance is so special. I'm excited. I'm so excited for her future in the MCU to see what comes of the Black Panther. And just final thoughts on the film. They did such a brilliant job demonstrating grief. The entire film took you through grief. Spectacularly done. And if Ryan continues directing the MCU and he directs Avengers Secret Wars, I will be a happy person. I will be pretty dang happy. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was a brilliant film. If I have to rank it in Phase 4, it's easily number 2. I can't put anything above Spider-Man No Way Home. I've dreamt of a movie like Spider-Man No Way Home for years and years, and I got it, and it was everything I wanted to be. I admit that Black Panther, and people are going to debate this being even a term, but I understand that objectively it was a better movie. But emotionally, I love Spider-Man No Way Home more. I can't help it. But anyway, Black Panther sits number 2 on the entirety of Phase 4. Where it ranks within the entirety of the MCU, I do not know. That is tough. That is tough. But beautiful film. I can't tell you if I enjoyed it more than Black Panther or not. I can't tell. I think it's too early to say for that one. But definitely worth the watch. It was... Listen, I understand a lot of people felt that the MCU has missed a lot. The Disney Plus series we've been getting will be a debate forever. But definitely felt that it made up for just feeling a little bit empty after Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder. Speaking of Disney Plus, so Riri Williams, Ironheart. Very excited to see more for the future. Very excited for her Disney Plus show. I think they cast it perfectly. I felt she was charismatic. She fit in well. From what we saw, she was great. The only thing involving Riri that I didn't like was that they didn't give any indication of how much she admired Tony Stark in Iron Man. the audience could have felt that it was random that she was Iron Man's successor. That's the only real thing that I felt like maybe they didn't do a good job portraying. But I know we're going to get the Ironheart series. We'll have more time to dive into that. That's literally my only critique in this 2 hour and 44 minute movie, outside of sometimes it may have dragged. That is it. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was amazing, beautiful, 9 out of 10. Be sure to check it out. Let me know your thoughts on the film when you check it out. And be sure to hit subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.